And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Eric. How about you today?
Pretty into the swing of things now that we are into day two of this podcast.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about things. I got good reaction from the debut show yesterday, so good to know that people are out there paying attention, and now we need to retain them.
We do. All 6 people who have decided to watch Sarah, my wife, my 2 daughters, and probably, one of your kids? Does that sound about right?
Well, she's hearing the show right now, so she doesn't even need to see it. She gets to hear it all. So there we go. Yeah.
Hey, before we get going, I want to tell you about Roller Auction. On Wednesday, April 2nd, there's a City of Aurora impounded vehicles auction featuring trucks, cars, SUVs, 4x4s, trailers, and more. Bidding is started at rollerauction.com. Don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
World of not necessarily excuses, but hey, we played hard. We did play hard. For a team with championship level aspirations, I'm kind of getting exhausted of I know we gave up 129 points, but we still played hard. Nuggets lost to the Bulls last night. They came into the game with a 31-40 record, averaging 117 points a game. They were finishing up a 6-game road trip. Saw a few tweets immediately after the game. Nuggets, they had a good effort. They had a good effort against the Bulls. Here's my very simplistic analysis of effort, specifically for the Nuggets. Offense, and you played basketball for a long time, right, Bruce?
Well, I mean, if you call it a YMCA game, baskall, I guess, right?
In the 65 and older league, yes, you've played a lot of basketball. Offense, is it fair to say, offense is more skill than effort? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Defense is more effort than skill. Is that fair to say?
That's why the saying is that defense and rebounding always travels. You can take it on the road with you.
Bulls scored 129. Where was the effort?
On offense. It wasn't on defense.
No. That's what I'm getting tired of.
I know.
We know they can put the ball in the basket. Where was the effort on defense? Where? It's like when the Broncos were really good defensively and putrid on offense for so many years with so many quarterbacks who weren't very good. And people said the Broncos this, the Broncos this, the Broncos that. No. It wasn't the Broncos this. You have to, unfortunately, even though it's a team, it's the Broncos defense is playing well and the Broncos offense is awful. Now, in this case, I understand that you don't have defensive players and offensive players in basketball. You play both sides of the floor. We know he can score. You gave up 129 points to the Bulls at home, and they were finishing up, I'm going to whisper this, they were finishing up a 6-game road trip.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Stop the presses. The Nuggets did just play 3 or 4 games, and they played 3 games in 4 nights. Oh, my God. Oh, the humanity. I mean, no team has ever done that, Bruce.
No.
Because now I got it all out of my system.
Okay. Well, I hope that you're feeling better, A. That's good.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And the problem with it is that we are what? What are we now? 73 games into the season. 73 games into the season. And the themes are the exact same as we've had all season long. There hasn't been any variation. The only difference right now is that Nikola Jokic hasn't played in 5 games because of a testy ankle. So here we are now trying to somehow think that we're going to redefine who the Nuggets are. The Nuggets are who they are. I mean, I don't know what people expect at this point. When you come home and, yeah, Jokic and Gordon weren't playing last night. Okay, I get that. You would think that you would have enough at home to beat a team like the Bulls, who, to their credit, have played pretty well lately, but are still, as you mentioned, a team that is 5 or 6 games under 500 and a non-factor. Kobe White kicked your ass last night.
Yep.
Kobe White just went and did basically whatever he wanted to do anytime that he wanted to do it. Where's the mentality of a hard foul or putting that guy into the first row or establishing a defensive presence early in the game? Look, I think that the Nuggets can be capable of defending in certain situations, but my problem is that it's not part of their identity. And I think that we talked about this a little bit yesterday. The identity of this team is score more than the other team, track meet. That's how you win games. You don't win games by holding teams down. You win games by not allowing others to hold you down. That's kind of who they are right now. I don't think it's a recipe for them to win in the postseason. They're going to end up with a decent regular season record. They should be in the 52, 53 wins category, something like that. But
I don't know about that. I don't know. Really? You really think they're going to win 53, 54 games?
Yeah, 52, 53 games. I mean, something like that.
And I am not trying to at all. I am not trying at all to, be difficult with you and be argumentative with you when I say that. But right now as we look at the standings, the Nuggets have 45 wins. Mm-hmm. They have 9 games left. So if they sweep it, they finish with a maximum of 54. Let's look just for fun at what's coming up next. Now, it was announced that Jokic will likely come back during this 5-game homestand. That
now 4
is the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, 7 of their final 9 games are against teams with winning records. Mm-hmm. So is that a light at the end of the tunnel or a train coming the other way? Right?
It's a fair question. And obviously, and I don't want to make this sound like any kind of rationalizing. It's a statement of the obvious, so I'll just make it. They are obviously a much better team when Nikola Jokic is in the lineup. We know that. He's a potential 4-time MVP. He's not going to win it this year, but he's going to be in the top 3 of the voting. We know that he's who he is, and he will make them a more formidable team. No question about it. But so regardless, my point is, take the number out of the equation. They will have a representative regular season. But is this the type of team that Michael Malone can have confidence going into because he knows what he has in the postseason? And I think the answer is clearly, if you listen to Coach, if you listen to him night after night, and the wild swings on the spectrum from, I love this team, I love the way they play for one another, to, hey, we've got to play for one another. If we don't play any better than this, we're not even going to be in the play-in round. Never the twain shall meet. It's different ends of the spectrum for this team. And Eric, what's going to change? You tell me, my friend, what's going to change with this group?
Nothing. There's a difference. So when I hear last night from media members and from players, well, we played hard. We gave a lot of effort.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was younger, I was taught the phrase, there is a difference between working hard and working smart, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a very general question. Yes, I'm trying to clearly fit it into my narrative. So let me just be completely upfront with that.
It's good.
Okay. Right. If you are running around as fast as you can, and you are expending a lot of energy, which in turn becomes a lot of effort. Is that working hard?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are a chicken with your head cut off, you're working hard.
Yeah. You are working hard.
I tried to fit that into a narrative. I get that. But working hard is two things. Working hard physically and working hard mentally. And that's what they don't do the second part. They don't.
Yes. I would agree.
I mean, if you want to, generally speaking, if you would like to follow a Nuggets game on whether they're winning the game or losing the game, and this is a very general statement, I get it. Because actually, I tried this last night just for fun. I don't know what possessed me to go, I'm just going to look at this one stat. And I'm not going to really look at the score. When you watch a Nuggets game, if you want to completely eliminate the running total of the score, just look at the 3-point shots made and the 3-point shots attempted. You can literally follow a Nuggets game that way.
Yeah.
Literally. And how did it turn out last night? Bulls shot 44%. And the Nuggets shot 31%. But it was a consistent theme throughout the game because early on, I mean, the Bulls had the lead, then the Nuggets had the lead. There was some ebb and flow to it. But every time there was kind of a little bit of a significant change in the 3-point shooting percentage. When the Bulls' 3-point shooting percentage was up, they were leading. When it was down and the Nuggets were marginal pretty much the whole game, then the Nuggets were winning. The 3-point, I'd be curious to go back through every single game, which I could, but I'm going to have you do it, Bruce, because you have nothing else.
Thanks. Yeah, right. Good. My analytical mind.
See how many times the Nuggets have won the 3-point percentage game against the other team, and I'm guessing it equates to a lot of wins.
Yeah, I would say that you're probably right. I think one of their great defensive deficiencies has been their ability or inability to close out on on the 3-point line. I mean, Chicago hit 17 of them last night, something like that. It was a big number. Yeah. In a game that into the fourth quarter was kind of hanging in the balance, and then Chicago really dominated in the fourth quarter. You know, there's another. We're stats guys, we don't live our lives by them, but they're interesting. Go check and see how this team does in the first quarter. When they win the first quarter, they win games. When they I don't know why that's the case, but it's been the case this year fairly consistently. They're like, and I don't know the exact number, but it's like, I don't know. They win like 72% of their games when they win the first quarter. But this has been a particularly slow starting team. And so there are little things that you can look for now that's 72 games, 73 games into the season that you can kind of set your watch to. Lack of defense is going to be one. They're going to give up a lot of points. They're 26th in the NBA in points allowed. They're going to score a lot of points because that's what they do to a fault, because that's who I think they feel who they are, right? I don't know how Michael Malone doesn't want them to be that way, but they feel like, hey, we can outscore people. And the irony is the guy that is the main tenet of that, Nikola Jokic, is the one guy who probably doesn't think that way. He's the guy that talks about, well, we've got to be able to stop people. And we've got to be, look, right now it's a hot mess. Now it's a hot mess for a team that's going to go into the playoffs. Yeah. It's a hot mess for a team that could be in the top 3 or 4, which would give them home court advantage for the first round of the playoffs. So we'll have to wait and see. But as I said yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it today, and we can move on. This is not about the Nuggets making the playoffs. This is about the Nuggets making the playoffs in the form of a team that can win in the playoffs. The Nuggets are good enough to be we're past the point now of just hoping that they're going to be in the playoffs. We want to see a way through that this team can win in the playoffs. And
what are your expectations? What are your expectations?
I think they can win a first-round series, and then after that, yeah, right.
I think they can. I think they can win a first-round series. This was a team not too long ago, and maybe even this year, they have a chance to win a championship. Now it's been dumbed down to, I think they might be able to win the first round. That's like the trapdoor opening. Here, or you could say, they have Nikola Jokic. That's right.
And that's it. And let me complete that thought. Yeah. They have a player that is generally considered to be the best in the world by virtually anyone's measure right now.
Yep.
And here we are. Now, look, they won a championship, and a couple of years ago, it was magical. Every piece fit together. It was a team with the strong identity, all of the things that make you warm and fuzzy about following a team, cheering for a team, and the expectations that come with it. But now we're into, at least I am, the proposition that they are wasting, and that may be a strong term.
It's not strong. No, you're spot on.
They may be wasting the best years of the best player in the world. Think about that statement. Yep. It should make you uncomfortable. It makes me a little angry, to be honest. But here's where we are.
Here's the bottom line. We'll continue this tomorrow, later in the week, next week, whenever. Calvin Booth wanted to take his core. This is like a big tease, I guess. Calvin Booth looked at his core, Gordon, Murray, Jokic, Porter, and said, we're going to put a lot of young pieces around, and hopefully they grow. Have we seen enough, essentially, in year 2 and in year 3 of some of them, where you can say, Calvin, A, you got it right. B, Calvin, I think you're on the right track, and I think we should be more patient. Or C, Calvin, you messed the whole thing up. With that's a tease.
Yeah.
Because that's where we're at right now. There's been enough time. There's been enough time with Christian Braun. There's been enough time with Peyton Watson, right? Pickett, we'll see what happens with him. But he is in year 2. You know what I'm saying? Strother, he's in year 2. So that's what Josh Kroenke needs to look at. Is it a light at the end of the tunnel, or is it a train coming the other way? Coming up after the break, we are less than a month from the NFL draft. And what will the Broncos do? They made some big moves in free agency. No reasonable person is going to argue that. They brought in a lot of talent and a lot of guys who were injured as well. Okay? But they filled a lot of holes. No question about it. Now, as they look into the draft, are they looking tight end? Are they looking running back? Or are they in a position with what they did in free agency to draft the best player in the draft at that point? Can they take the best available player? That's next. Everybody has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. It's everything a sports bar should be. Upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game. NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. This is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Bronco Raptor or nearly $30,000 in cash the weekend of May 23rd. Get finalist entries from 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes or by redeeming player points. And all daily cash drawings that don't get picked are eligible for a second chance drawing on Wednesdays, and that can turn into extra cash. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl. We talked about the Nuggets. Now let's dive into the Broncos. It seems hard to believe that the draft is less than 1 month away. So now the question is, of course, what are the Broncos going to do? They filled their cup in free agency. They got themselves a safety. They got themselves a tight end. They got themselves an inside linebacker. What I'm about to say is going to be a conversation for another day, but I'm going to tease it this way. The Broncos have remained relatively healthy throughout the last 2 years. They have bucked the trend, the law of averages, which is you have one healthy year, eventually the law of averages will catch up to you. Is that fair to say, Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that Sean Payton is fine as long as he's right. He has taken that to a whole new level where he is spitting in the face of the law of averages and saying, me and Bo Lowry are so good at what we do, we can bring in our top free agents who are all injured. We are so good at what we do. Doesn't matter. You can't touch us. Drake Greenlaw, so what? He had an injury. Evan Ingram, so what? He had an injury. The safety, so what? He had an injury. We're going to make him healthy, and we're good. That is nothing more than a tease, honestly, for another show. But let's get into this. We've talked a lot about the tight ends, or at least everybody has. We didn't do a radio show for 3 months. Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland. Should the Broncos grab one of them, if one is available? I don't know if they will, but if one of them is available, specifically Colston Loveland, should they do that even though Evan Ingram is on the roster?
I don't think anything has changed in the draft plan, even after free agency. I do think that they'll probably get a tight end. I'd look for Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon, Gunnar Helm out of Texas, second-day picks perhaps. I do think that they will fall for a running back. And there's even a possibility that they may drop down and take more picks. Who knows? They've got a lot of latitude to do what they think that they need to do. I think they have done a good job in free agency. And the caveat that you put with it, do you stay healthy? You're betting on yourself. You're betting on Bo Lowry. You're betting on 2 years of statistical data that indicate the Broncos seem to know what they're doing, at least in terms of soft tissue injuries, things of that nature. They have been the top team in the league over the last 2 years in terms of players missing games. Now, they've taken on 3 guys that between them have missed 33 games in the last couple of years. 33 between these 3 players. All of them missed significant time a year ago, but they're betting on themselves. That's confidence in Bo Lowry, obviously. That's confidence in the science and the technology that they're employing, and more power to them. I mean, what is Sean Payton supposed to do at this point other than trust the data? And I like what they did in free agency, but I don't think it changes much. I don't think it's going to change much, Eric, about what they are going to do in their approach to the draft. Maybe it gives them the latitude to move down If indeed that's something they want to do, okay, fine. If they can gather picks and continue to hit on them. Now, the depth of this draft is thought to be pretty shallow. That there's not as many day
in what position group?
Well, day two. Well, there's good value in running back and tight end. Really good, but in terms of second and third day difference makers compared to other drafts, the general consensus seems to be careful about it. You may not get the value late like the Broncos have gotten. I mean, they got Vele last year, in the 7th round, 6th round, whatever it was. That's a guy that's going to be a guy for the Broncos. Will they hit like that? Maybe not. We'll have to see. So I don't think things have changed that much. I do think tight end and running back remain very much part of the focus.
Would you be someone who considers, I mean, there are 2 top tight ends in the draft, Warren and there's Colston Loveland. Would you be so bold to trade up to get one of them? Now, I understand what kind of capital do you have to give up. You will not have to give up a ton of capital for Colston Loveland. Ty Warren, I think, is going to probably go, I don't know, anywhere between 12 and 13, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to trade away easily a 2nd-round pick. But I think in order to get Loveland, you might have to trade up 4 spots. Do you love him that much? Or are you willing to wait for the depth? Or do you want a running back so badly that a guy like Amari Hampton is sitting?
That's the name. That's the trending name right now. And remember, the Broncos are so close to the vest here.
Yep.
And we are in the so-called silly season that you got to be really careful about anything that you think that you're hearing at this particular point. But you can logically connect the dots based on what this team has done over the last 2 years. Although I would remind people they're in a different position now. They are still building a team, but they're building a team on a higher level now. You are thinking more in terms of guys that can make a difference. And you're not building the foundation of the team. You are building upon the foundation. They are, quote unquote, a playoff team. I think that's a reasonable expectation for them now. So are they putting pieces together that can help them win another game, another extra game in the regular season, or 2 extra games? Can they compete in the division instead of just getting a team together and a roster together that gives them a chance to be relevant? We're past that point now. So I do think that we need to be careful about looking at the last 2 years, how they built in the last 2 years, to maybe, would they be willing to take a chance on someone that they think can help them immediately? I don't know. It remains to be seen, other than the fact that tight end and running back and tight end still, to me, are the biggest questions. I mean, is Evan Ingram really the guy that can be the so-called joker? Look, I just need a playmaking tight end. Whether he's the joker or not, I just need a playmaking tight end. And Evan Ingram, if you look at the numbers on him, is not as much of a downfield threat as you would like to see at this point in his career. He is still a very capable pass-catching tight end, unlike anything that they've had in the last, 6-7 years, right? Really, since Noah Fant. So let's just wait and see. But my guess is that they will look for that kind of playmaker coming up in the draft.
Well, the question is, who is that playmaker going to be?
Great question. Yeah.
If you really want your guy outside of Amari Hampton, who's probably going to be there at 20, Ashton Genty's not going to be there. But do you want one of these tight ends? Are you willing to trade up?
I don't think I am.
Okay.
I don't think, and here's what, and you and I might be, because I hear where you're coming from, and it's intriguing to think that way. If you think that Tyler Warren is a generational talent at tight end, and I'll listen to the argument, then how much are you willing to move up to get him? Right. Because my thinking is that you're probably going to have to be top 12, and you're sitting there at 20 right now. How much is 8? And even then, there won't be a guarantee that he'd be available. Right. That doesn't fit the model for what I expect from Peyton and Peyton.
Here, I'm going to throw something at you.
Sure.
Okay. When it comes to drafting a certain player, but then again, drafting your quarterback. I can't remember which draft it was, but they came out in the same draft. If I'm not mistaken, you and I have talked about this as well. If you had your choice going back, would you rather have Champ Bailey or Dante Culpepper? Who'd you rather have?
Well, Champ Bailey is still my answer. But you're going to make you're going to make a quarterback you're going to make an argument for a quarterback.
You need to have the quarterback, right?
Yes. Yes, you do.
To have the quarterback.
Yes.
When we look back, who would you rather have? Bo Nix or Brock Bowers?
Bo Nix.
No. Brock Bowers will have a better career. Brock Bowers is already on a Hall of Fame.
And what do you base that on?
Brock Bowers is already on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's already one of the best tight ends in football, and he has no quarterback play.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess
if you did last year,
if you multiply him out for 8 years, you would certainly be right. He plays. I mean, you can have Brock Bowers. The need for the Broncos at the time at quarterback makes it a no-brainer. I hate to say.
Listen, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I know.
Position of need. That's why I brought up Champ Bailey and Dante Culpepper. Dante Culpepper, I think, had 2 Pro Bowl seasons. You got to have the quarterback, is my point.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay? So if you have to have a quarterback, then you need to draft a quarterback. I mean, I can tell you right now, there is going to be a team out there, probably 1 or 2, maybe 3, that are going to potentially miss on a Hall of Famer in Travis Hunter because they had to have a quarterback. Right? Of course, I'm projecting Travis Hunter's career out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I brought all this up was, do you look at an Ashton Genty as that Brock Bowers type? Meaning a guy who has an unbelievable career ahead of him. And I know it's all projecting, but do you look at Ty Warren like that? And is it worth trading up for him? Because at the end of the day, you hear the phrase all the time, that was a value pick, or that he shouldn't have been drafted there. He was drafted too high. If you honestly believe the guy is going to be great, if you believe he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he has 4th round grade talent, you take him with your first pick to guarantee that you're going to get him. Period. Now, people will argue this point, which is, well, take other players ahead of him and hope he slides. Hope is the wrong word. You don't want to hope somebody slides. Take him when you can get him.
I don't know of a 4th rounder that I'd move up for to pick in the 1st round.
I've tried throughout 4th round, 3rd round, 2nd round, 7th.
No, I get what you're saying.
My point is, you look at Ty Warren, okay, because people are saying this guy could be unbelievable. Do you trade up to 12 to get him if you think he's going to be that good?
Well, if you think he's going to be that good, then why not just move up to 6 or 8 and make sure that you get the pick? 12 is a dangerous spot for a guy like Ty Warren.
What do you mean? You think he goes before that?
I mean, are you the only one in the game thinking that Ty Warren may be a generational player at tight end? I'll bet you there's other people that might be thinking that as well. I mean, I would think that if you're going to make a move to get to, and you're convinced that you've got to be in the 12 hole for that, which seems reasonable, but there's still, I mean, I guess the takeaway is you're still going to get an unbelievable quality player at 12. Okay.
I am not suggesting, unfortunately in sports talk radio and now in the podcast world, we give mock drafters way too much credit. Why? It gives us material. Right?
Sure.
It gives us something to talk about. There are certain mock drafters and other mock drafters who I give more credit to and won't give more credit to. Mel Kiper, I'll start by saying this, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Or
his hair alone.
Correct. You cannot write the story of the NFL without him.
Right.
Do I think he's good at draft analysis? No, I don't. I think, and this is a fact, he pretty much works out of his basement in Baltimore. That's what he does. But he's built a cottage industry, is my point.
Right.
Good on him. When I look at Daniel Jeremiah, former scout, I'm not going to look at his mock draft and say, ooh, that's the way it's going to be. But this guy is actually scouted. You understand what I mean by the difference of the two, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He just came out with his mock draft. He has Ashton Genty going 6 to the Raiders. The Broncos are not going to trade up to 6.
Nor should they.
He has Ty Warren going to the Colts at 14. You're telling me the Broncos can't afford to go up 6 spots? If indeed he goes that far. And then, oh, by the way, if you really want Colston Loveland, Jeremiah has Loveland going to the Seahawks at 18.
Yeah, Colston Loveland's stock has risen as consistently as any player in the draft right now. We were talking about.
Disagree with that, Bruce. Colston Loveland, I believe, was the number 1 tight end going into the college football season. Tyler Warren overtook him.
Yeah, he overtook him, and then you're also talking about a bad injury for Colston Loveland as well. Correct. So there are mitigating circumstances for Colston Loveland. I don't know what the brain trust in Dove Valley is thinking in terms of what the data is on these guys. They got their guy a year ago in Bo Nix. If they believe...
I don't mean to cut you off. This needs to be a standard operating procedure on our show. It doesn't matter what the Broncos think. It matters what we think. This is our show. What would you do? Not what would they do?
I wouldn't move up.
What would you do?
Yeah, I like what I've done in free agency. There are players on the board in positions of need that can help me. I am not so convinced that Warren or Loveland are generational players. I think they're the 2 best tight ends in an historically, maybe the most historically deep draft in tight end history. Yep. And I'm going to trust my ability probably on day 2, if I'm really looking at that as a position of need, to fill it then. That's where I'm at.
When I said what I just said to you, yes, we're clearly going to talk about what do we think the Broncos are going to do. But at the end of the day, what would you do if you are the Broncos? I need to give more opinion personally. I'm probably too shy about giving my opinion. What do you think, Bruce?
I don't think shyness was ever something or other that you had to worry about.
And I don't think you need to worry about shy either. With that, the Avalanche play tonight, trying to get closer to the Dallas Stars, because at the end of the day, when you look at the Dallas Stars and the Avalanche, it's really going to come down to who gets home ice. And oh, by the way, we have 30 seconds to go in the show. When we were doing the radio show, we had conversations. Remember, the Avalanche started slow, Nuggets started slow. Which team would you rather be heading into the playoffs? Avs are the clear-cut winner now, aren't they?
8-1-1 in their last 10 games, points in 11 of their last 12. Right. Really seem to have a roster that is coming together both on the ice and chemically in the locker room. And, on top of it, Gabe Landeskog is a full participant at practice now. Don't expect to see him until the playoffs, but it's a very intriguing mix that will be good fodder for us as we move ahead in the next couple of days.
Bruce, great job this morning. Alex, you as well. Why don't you bring yourself into the panel? because Alex is working behind the scenes, and now he's not working behind the scenes. So get yourself out of it. If I'm going to say you're working behind the scenes, you can't bring yourself up. See you tomorrow morning.
Later, boys.
Yeah.